There you go. That might work. That might be the issue.
Tell them to talk.
Speakers ain't on.
Testing.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
We're good. Oh shit, we're live. Shit. Somebody hit
Yeah.
you guys
Go ahead,
live.
Allan.
All right.
We
All
live.
All right.
All right. We are live
Good
here.
morning, Detroit. You know this shit is
Right on
Hey,
time.
don't
Right on. Whoa.
Yeah,
Got
It's fine.
saved.
Be a little more cozy over there. You guys are like
Come on,
enemies, man. You gotta be friends.
Oh, okay.
We got all-star cast today.
Keep going.
All right. I see you now. Hey, tilt that
Keep
down.
going, Adolph. Adolph.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
gonna say tilt it down.
move
So.
over. Okay.
Bam. There you go.
I directed
Look
Jim
at
Nardone.
More, Adolph. Man, more. You gotta be on top of him.
Can you see me? Are we there?
You're good.
Okay.
We're
Welcome to
live.
Detroit Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. We got an all-star panel today. Bruce Simpson, I'm Buzzman. Hey, this is you got a countdown.
Yeah,
T minus what, 11 months?
I got a countdown.
Or 10 months?
Yeah, it's October 25. Yeah, so that's the end of the 10-year term.
How do you describe yourself, Mark?
I'm a podcaster, street journalist, independent journalist, however you want to call it. A lot of people call me a community philanthropist. You know, now that I wear that hat. So, you know,
What's your government name?
my government name is Marc D'Andre.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And welcome. And you know, last week we got great feedback. You being on, you was only on for several moments.
Mhm.
So that's why we asked you to come back.
No problem. No problem. That's why I'm here.
Shit starter, fire starter.
Hey.
Attorney Vanessa Moss.
Good morning, Attorney Vanessa Moss. I wear a lot of hats, but this is what I want to say. I want to tell all the viewers that are watching us this morning, thank you so much. But we're going to ask for you to do two things. One thing is very important. We want you to hit that like button because we said we're doing something different in 2025. And the only way we're going to be able to do it is by your participation. Hit that like and subscribe button. There are people I've run into out in the street when I was in the classroom Tuesday. They watched the show, but they have not pressed that like button and they have not subscribed. That makes a big difference. So like, subscribe, and share. Like. I'm going to give a shout out to those people who watch all the time. Burdell, Dewayla Boyce, Felicia Dean, Bridget Huff, Dee Holly. You don't like my music. Marlon Holt. These are people that I can remember from, just coming on every week. We thank you so much. Timothy Squire Bay, thank you so much for watching Detroit Black and White.
Okay, good. I'm Adolph Mongo. Let's go with what the outrage of the week. I want to go first.
Okay, go ahead. It's probably what we talked about last night a little bit.
Well, you know what? Garland Gilchrist has been a loyal running mate to Governor Whitmer. And I know Garland a little bit. And always, I know some of the things he want to do. He wanted to run for governor when her term is up.
Yeah.
I told him go rogue on him. And when he got reelected, I said, because knowing the Democratic Party, they eat their young. And she ate him up the other day when asked on public radio, are you supporting him in his run for governor? She said, why? No, because no lieutenant governor ever win the governor's race, which is a lie. Milligan was a lieutenant governor and he won and got reelected. She wouldn't denounce Mayor Duggan for leaving the party. So I think the fix is in for Jocelyn Benson to get the nomination, just like they did Slocum, just like they got this little game going. So my outrage is that the governor showed her true color. Her name is Karen. I'm calling her Governor Karen. You know, so yeah. Listen, that's why the Democrats, they lost the House, they lost Congress, they lost the Senate, they lost the Supreme Court. They have lost every fucking thing because they don't take care of their young. Last night, I saw some of those fucking traitors at the auto show, Rashida Tlaib and all them that turned against Vice President Harris because they didn't want to see a black woman getting elected president. So, fuck you, Governor Whitman. That's my outrage.
Wow.
So, who's next?
You.
Okay, let me make sure that I tell everybody that watched the show. The opinions of these individuals belong to those individuals, period. Adolph speaks for Adolph, Vanessa speaks for Vanessa, Marc speaks for Marc, and our Buzzman speaks for himself. Okay? So those are the views of Mr. Adolph Mongo. We talked about that a little bit last night, but I'm not going to go back and repeat what I said last night. I'm going to talk about my outrage today. My outrage has something to do with this high-profile case. It was a preliminary exam that went on for 5 days at 36th District Court. What's her name? Nakeisha Harris. Naziah Harris. Let's get the names. And there was, as far as I'm concerned, everybody failed that little book. This dude. And listen, I'm a defense attorney. You have to make sure that the process is adhered to as a defense attorney. Some cases you could look at and say, you know what, this is either if they go to trial, it's going to be a long plea, or if they decide that they're going to negotiate, it's going to be a short plea. But what I'm outraged about is not only the fact that her mother failed her. You had a grandmother who testified and said that she had never seen this guy in her house, but the kids were going up to the shop, the mechanic shop, cleaning up the shop. You have her auntie who got babies with this dude, right? I don't know what's going on with CPS. I know the grandmother is the guardian. Somebody said that she adopted the little girl. Whatever the case may be, where was CPS? I heard people talking about, well, where's the father? Where's the father? Well, I understand that the father's not deceased, but when the little girl was missing initially, guess what? They shut him down. Now, I don't know why he didn't have custody of her, right? But I can imagine if her grandmother had guardianship of her, it probably went through the juvenile court system, right? And she became the little girl's guardian. But this is outrageous that everybody failed this little girl, including the school.
Can I tell you something?
Including the schools.
I tell you something. I met when I was a grad student at Wayne State. I met a young girl in the library at Wayne State. She was about 19. She was in school. Listen, no, it ain't funny.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
It's not funny. What her story?
Okay,
Yeah, her story. We laughing at the joke about
she had 3 kids by the time she was 14.
Oh.
And I said, who were you living with? She was living with her grandmother. And then she was homeless, had no place to go. Yeah, you know, I know the folks over in the city. That's when they had the Section 8 program and stuff. But this is not. This is common here in the city of Detroit.
It's unfortunate.
And what it is, I mean, we got a common pattern of we got households with no moral principles and people with no.
How you let a grown man come and be with a 13-year-old, 12-year-old, 11-year-old, and
you know why? Because they were 11 and 12-year-olds messing with older men, and they didn't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, in the case of Naziah, right? If you go back to my first podcast entitled 40 Years of CPS, right? The grandmother allegedly, had a husband named Charles, and Charles propositioned 2 of her nieces sexually, right? And when the nieces came to Annette and told her about it, she said, well, why don't you just let him do what he want to do? And those nieces ran away. Those prompted her beginning of her CPS investigation. She had kids running away from her house. So if they was with it, right? If she was telling the kids back then to allow her husband to do what they wanted to do, that was like I said, 40 years of CPS was the first episode of Desire.
So here we are. So 4 years of CPS.
40 years.
40 years of CPS. But they let this grandmother have this girl in the house for her.
Yeah.
And what did she do with her daughters? The decedent's mother.
Okay.
What happened with her?
Why did it take a
and
year? Why did it take a year to come to court? She's been missing for a year.
That I can't answer.
Listen, there's a case in
It's a 24 case, so they just
in
found
Trenton where a young black woman mother was missing for 10 years and the family never reported
how long was the lady missing? Did they just found like recently? She was
in
missing?
River Rouge.
Yeah, and then they found her at the hotel or something. You know what I mean?
So,
this is like out of The Wire, where all the bodies are in the abandoned homes and everything.
I mean, we just had 3 bodies pop up last week in Detroit, right? It was one in the hole in the backyard on the west side. It was one in the water down there in River Rouge, and then there was one in the field over there on the west side.
That's a story.
I didn't hear about the one in the field on the west side.
You didn't hear about the
No.
Yeah, that was the one everybody was worried about, it being the young lady who was missing recently because they said that it was a body of a woman, but it didn't turn out not to be her.
Wow.
Okay, we're gonna go to you, Mark.
The question,
outrage
of the week. Where should I start? Oh man, you ever help people and they end up ungrateful about it?
Yeah.
Right. They help you. Have to. I get to the point now where you were selfless for so long that you have to become selfish, right? Because you invest yourself so much into other people where they don't appreciate it, to where like sometimes you might get to the point where you don't have it anymore for yourself. So I have to reserve some for myself. But it's people that's being ungrateful. I mean, you help somebody, you give them an inch, and they want to take Gratiot all the way up to 36 miles. You know what I mean? You got to keep helping them now. You know what I'm saying? And now they want more. Now they want more. Now they want more. Now they want more. And they're unappreciative of the help that you did. And God forbid you go above and beyond for them. They don't even recognize you for the above and beyond.
I know somebody who, an attorney, represented their son for free, got him off, and they didn't want. And his son for free. No, their son. I know somebody.
Oh, you represented somebody else's son.
And they supposed to pay the attorney,
right?
He didn't really don't want the money, but it's what they said to him. A first-year law student could have done what you did. I said, well, you should have got a fucking first-year law student. You're absolutely right. When you help somebody, when they you make it happen, and then they tell you, they dismiss you like,
Oh my God. People always say, oh man, you need to help people, and it'll come back to you. Know how many people I've helped over the years, and ain't a damn thing come back to me from them.
A slap in the face.
A slap in the fucking face.
But you do it because of the love of your people, and because you have
to give it fair. You don't
give it with expectations.
I got into this journalism, the whole journalism field, because I seen a void, an empty area that I can fill up, a necessary empty area. You know what I'm saying? So and now that trickles down even to the stories. You know what I'm saying? It's a void in people's lives that I feel like I can help in some kind of a way. No matter if I'm riding up 7 Mile and it's a car accident and it's a car, I can pull a girl out of the car one time, right? If I wouldn't have been the nosy person that everybody said that I am, I pulled over and saved that girl's life, right? I was driving Uber at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I pulled over. It was a 14-year-old girl walking up 7 Mile and Coney at 3 o'clock in the morning with a grocery bag with clothes in it. I'm like, where you going? Like, you all right? She's like, yeah. And she seemed scared, but I pulled off, came back. When I came back, it was another car proposition. And then, I don't want to stereotype my brothers, but when people ain't up to no good. So I pulled up in between him and her, and I'm like, look, I got an Uber tag in my car. I got cameras. Like, I ain't crazy or nothing. Like, where you want to go? She said she was trying to go to a shelter. Fast forward, I ended up taking that girl back to her dad because she ran away from her mother's house because it was a dude, her mother's boyfriend, and her mother was treating her whatever kind of a way, right? And I took her back to her dad, and that was on Facebook Live. Right? I heard like maybe a year and a half, 2 years later that girl got accepted to college and moved down south.
Okay, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back with Bruce outrage and Allan Lengel outrage. We're gonna take a break. Detroit in black and white here at McShane.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Oh, man, you are for yourself. I'm trying to give it back.
Welcome back. This is Adolph Mongo, Detroit Black and White. Vanessa, go ahead.
Yes. Hey, thank you so much for watching Detroit Black and White. If you're watching, we want you to hit that like button. We want to give a shout out to those people who watched last night, those people who went back and watched last night podcast. Marlon, thank you so much. You can catch us every Wednesday and Friday night from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And then 8:30 p.m. Let me make sure I say that 8:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday and Friday. And on Saturdays from 10 to 11 live at McShane's. Thank you so much. Hit that like, and we're going to get to your comments in a few minutes.
Bruce, and then Allan, outrage.
So real quick, I'm going to reiterate what Vanessa said. If Adolph says something crazy, that's Adolph talking. There's a lot of people at the table, but he's more than likely the person that's going to do that.
Oh, he rip off too.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just look. Every individual has their own individual thoughts.
I know you would use a baby.
Yeah, I know you know that. I know you knew me when I was a baby. Look, my outrage is what's going on in California with the wildfire.
Yeah.
The government as a whole, whether you're talking local or federal, seems ill-equipped, unprepared, and unwilling to address the issue. We have an outgoing president who got up to a press conference and started talking about the fact that he's a great grandfather, while you have people who have lost their lives, people who have lost property or life belongings. He was asked questions by reporters, and he told them fire away. Completely aloof as to the language he's using, talking about, I got good news, I'm a grandfather. No one who has just lost a loved one or all of their belongings wants to hear that. And again,
but what can he do?
No, wait a minute. He can at least appear to be equipped enough to give the proper responses and support to those people.
He got dementia.
But listen, he gave them this proper.
He
did give them the some money, a whole lot of money. He gave a whole lot. I read the article this morning. I read several articles. So he did release a whole lot of money for them to get help. So he did do that. Now, I do agree with you in that what he said was not the smartest. But like Adolph said, the man has dementia.
So if you know that he's in that state,
why they let him get up there and
talk?
talk?
He's in that state, where are his people? He had
That's what you should be outraged at.
has a bunch of handlers, a bunch of buffers,
his wife should have did what Nancy Reagan did. Take control. That's right. What you got to do. Listen. I like Joe Biden. Joe Biden was all right. You know what? His 4 years was fine.
He just gave us some relief money. Let me be clear.
Right.
He can get the money, but that's
he don't know.
Is
Granddaddy don't know where he's at. We got a crazy man coming into the White House because he's gonna flip the script. Right. And we got one that's outgoing. And you know what's happening in California? These people keep building new houses in the same property, and they know the winds and everything else is gonna come and burn it down. Now, what I'm pissed at, they blaming it on DEI. That's who set the fires. That's bullshit. You decided to move into an area where they have had forest fires for 1,000 years.
You know, I've seen a picture. Now, I don't know if it was a real picture of what's going on right now in California. It was an aerial shot of a neighborhood. All of the houses was wiped out, but the trees were still there.
Right. What you saying is arson?
It's fire. It burned down the houses, but not the trees. It's a forest fire, or was it a house fire?
Well, we don't know.
They said that it was nature. So I'm thinking it was a forest fire. I don't know.
So nature attacked the houses, but not nature. Nature.
The trees. Was the real picture? Or was it AI?
That's what I said. I don't think it was AI. I don't know if it was an actual picture of California right now. What happened? That's what I was thinking. That's why I didn't post it. I'm like, I gotta do some research.
Ain't no question, Allan. You're outraged.
Well, I was going to just say something about the forest fires. A lot of those fires that are happening are homes there's dry brush around. In the areas, the more really seriously urban areas, those fires aren't happening. It's happening where there's been dry brush, where things are burning quickly. They've been dealing with that. People know that.
You're running out of minutes, man.
Yeah, there's an essay in the Wall Street Journal by a guy who, when he bought the house, his neighbor told him, he says, one day you're going to have to do something to save your home because of the brush in the area and stuff like that. So it's a hazard there. I have a friend who has probably a $3 million home, but it's in a very tight urban area and there's no fires there. So anyways, my outrage is our U.S. Supreme Court, which voted. I mean, Trump did everything possible to try to derail the kind of bullshit sentencing on Friday. And he went to the Supreme Court asking for them to derail it. And the vote should have been 9-0 no, because the Supreme Court doesn't bother to get involved when the case is still, the merits of the case are going through the appeal process. But the vote was 5-4 against intervening, which it should have been 9-0. But you have the same people, Clarence Thomas, Alito, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, who voted because they don't care about the image of the court. They don't care about how corrupt the court is perceived. At least to her credit, Amy Coney Barrett and Judge Roberts voted with the majority not to intervene. But the other ones, they just don't care. And I think we're going to see the next 4 years, we're going to see big problems with that court.
We already see big problems. Mark,
about what? What are we talking about?
Yeah, we just talking about the next 4 years. What do you see here in the city? Mayor's race, etc.
Because we got the police chief that's running for mayor now, right? And then the ex-mayor that's going for
the police chief, Ty Bettison, he running for mayor.
I said the old police, the one that just
left. James Craig.
Yeah, he's supposed to be running.
I heard that too.
Yeah, he's supposed to be running for mayor. So I thought
everybody running.
And then the ex-mayor is supposed to be running for he's running for governor. So I expect more of the same. I guess a little bit, deeper. I guess you know what I mean. But it's a problem with these politicians, with some of them in the city. You know what I mean? I know one of which that has his hand in the sex trafficking gang. Right? Yeah, you know what I mean. We got a guy who's partnered with a lot of owners of the hotels that are in the city, and he runs the 13th congressional district. That's all the way from Grosse Pointe, all the way down through a little bit of the west side, down through River Rouge, all the way out to Romulus. Right? And we know, especially out there, River Rouge, out to Romulus, there's a whole lot of trafficking going on, right? And then the fact of the matter is that you partner with a lot of the owners of these hotels, such as the Suez Hotel, the Trafficking Inn Hotel, the Cabana Hotel. I said the Suez already. The Crystal House that we all know is infamous as hell. The American Inn, and a few others. And all of these people that own these buildings and these establishments, partners. And he's involved in it. I mean, as well as the pharmaceutical industry, where he got a $24 million investment from the bank. Did he invest into the? Yes, exactly.
You talk about Sri Thanadar. You talk about the Congress. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things that we need to.
But people elected to that. So
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a lot of our older generation in the city that don't know a lot about what's going on. That just vote for people for face value.
Exactly. We talked about that last night. About one of our viewers said to me, and I said that last night. I'm gonna say it again today. We have to stop allowing these organizations pick our parents up, our grandparents up. Listen, you got a great grandma or grandma, auntie, or whatever. You have a card. You going over to the house, eating food. You going to the house, getting money. You doing favors. You take them because you have the power of influence. You take them to the poll. You tell them who they should vote for, as opposed to having these organizations be responsible for doing that.
You talking to the wall.
I'm just saying, but that is something that needs to be done because, like you said, these older people don't know. They just follow the program, and the program ain't working.
A large part of our success since we exited bankruptcy has been due to the federal funding that we've received. We're 10 years removed from bankruptcy. There's a direct correlation between federal funding and who is in the White House, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican.
Yep.
Understanding that we are going to have Republican leadership across the board in the federal government, we should have the expectation that there will be a dwindling of federal funds. So what does that mean for our city? As we go forward, it means that it's going to get tight. The money that we used to have that was afforded to us for different programming, for affordable housing, all these things that are crucial to us getting to where we want to be as a city may not be there. So we have to prepare to move forward, and our leadership has to acknowledge that and have a plan for that as well.
You know what's crazy about the leadership, though? When you talk about the government funding, I used to have a podcast and media production program from Job Corps. You know why they stopped it? Because they found out the head of the financial department was stealing the money that was allocated for the program. So they stopped all of the programs. So if we got that type of activity going on in other arenas in the city.
Well, you gotta,
let me say this,
go ahead, and then we go down.
I agree with you that it does make a difference who has relationship with the people in DC. But as we saw when Trump was the president before, you had Dan Gilbert, who had a very close relationship with him. And the city of Detroit did get money from DC because of the relationship that some of these business people have with the people in DC. So I don't know if it's going to get tight or not. It just depends on what. We had Duggan was in office at that time. So we'll see what happens.
Billionaires talk to billionaires, no doubt.
There's no question about it. Let Allan, your take on this.
Yeah, I think I agree with Bruce. I mean, I think it depends who's in the White House there. When Vanessa, I'd be curious when you talk about money coming in during Trump, what money are you talking about? Because I think of, the Democrats, as Joe Biden just gave a bunch of money to Detroit. I think traditionally the Democrats have always been more.
Will the people get the fucking money? You know what? I always.
Well, the money ain't for it's for the programs for the people to benefit from.
Listen, we always hear some of these elected officials, Allan, and say, "I brought 30 million here, 40 million there." Where the fucking money at? Is it going into the neighborhood?
In the hands of these financial departments, just pocketing the money and not doing what they're supposed to do with it. That's the reason why.
So you said it's corrupt, but anyway, to answer your question, Allan.
Yeah.
Listen, I cannot sit here and say, okay, money came here from this department for this department, but we saw how Detroit benefited the 4 years they was in office. There was money that was coming into the city of Detroit. I read a lot of articles. I can't say right off the top of my head what it was, but the city of Detroit continued to grow. Now, how much you get, that's a whole different story, because as Adolph just said, Biden gave the city of Detroit a whole lot of money. That does not mean, and for me, this is how I look at it. It makes a difference who's in DC, but it also makes a difference who's willing to work with the other side.
When Archie was the mayor, he got money in enterprise zone. He got millions and millions of dollars, and they never spent it. They didn't do shit with it.
How you know they didn't spend it?
Because they had to give it back.
They had. What
they had
that
to give-
mean?
they
That
had to
mean
give
that
it
mean
back.
they spent it. They just didn't spend it on what they were
There's
supposed to, so they had to repay
no
it.
question. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back. We're gonna continue the conversation. Detroit in black and white. Yeah, they can say all the fucking shit they want to say, but where's the money?
In their pocket.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
welcome back to Detroit Black and White. Go ahead, Alan.
Can you see the comment? Here's
Some
one.
of these questions.
Money up front. He said inside the Grand Boulevard gets all the money, outside the Grand Boulevard trash. And here's Marlon Holt. Joe gave $347 million to Detroit. He gave Ukrainians billions. Goodbye, Joe. Well, you know what? I have a question.
Wait a minute. Read some more comments. Because we got to keep these people engaged. Read some more comments.
We need to talk about everything. Maybe some people wake up. The neighborhoods didn't get nothing. Here's one, Queen B. They seem to vote for the last names, hoping the kids do the work their parents did. Meanwhile, the kids are just riding their parents' coattails, talking about the election. My outrage is President Obama had to sit next to Trump and listen to BS. At least Michelle said she won't attend because she's not sitting next to that felon. Technology is smart cities ahead. I agree with Mark. There's a lack of appreciation in our community. Keep up the good independent journalism. Marlon Holt, if you're going to talk natural disasters, talk about all the resources pouring out of the country to other countries. Make sure your house is tight before you tighten up somebody else.
I agree. I totally.
What's your question, Alan?
He had a response.
My question is, now I gotta find out how to. My question is, a while ago we had an election where we created an exploratory committee to talk about reparations, and I think it's been possibly 4 years and we haven't really heard anything. I'm curious where that's at and if that has any legs or any future. Any opinions on that?
Well, yeah, I got an opinion. Everybody getting reparations, and they're getting paid for past injustice, and every time they talk about reparations for descendant of slavery here, people get an attitude. It's like I remember when Joanne Watson, the late great Joanne Watson, sat on the city council and said, "We need to do an African town." People went berserk, but they can have a Greek town, a Chinatown,
Mexican town,
all kind of towns, but said African town, and the folks went berserk, especially some black folks. They don't need no African town. Reparations.
We're already a damn African town.
They untook people property, and we just look at the 1950s, where they moved out all these black-owned businesses. They didn't get a quarter. Coleman Young told me one time. I asked him. I sat there and said, "You know what? You got rid of Pole Town." I said, 3,000 families, churches, hospitals, etc. for GM. He said, "Yeah." He said, "But everybody got paid, even people that rented their apartments and houses." He said, "But back in the 50s, I had a cleaners. We bought it from somebody. The lodge came through. They got nothing. Tore it down. Said the black folks got nothing out of it. And here we are. People got compensated. They can buy them another place."
They tell us
got reparations.
They tell us to forget about it, get over
They
it.
can't.
Yet
They
say
gave
that to
Japanese.
they
They
say
gave the
that to no
Japanese.
They
other-
don't say that about the Holocaust.
They don't say that to no
Well,
other.
ask Allan. Allan Jewish. And listen, didn't your parents receive some kind of compensation?
My
The
parents-
that they lived.
I'll say this: Germany. I mean, it wasn't huge money, but Germany did provide, with documentation, all that, provided reparations on a monthly basis. My parents are Holocaust survivors, but the thing is, when they passed, I mean, I don't get anything. I never did get anything, but so I think.
But they got something.
Let
They
me
didn't
say
get enough for you to get anything.
Right. Let me say something. I think one of the challenges with the reparations is when we're talking about descendants and stuff like that. I think they haven't gotten to the point to figure out how do you distribute money to individuals? Do you distribute it to programs? And I think that hasn't even been settled, because I know there's people who say, "I want money." There's other people who say, "Let's put it into education, into paying for water bills and all that kind of stuff." So I don't know. You haven't even gotten.
But the thing about that,
go ahead.
That's going to perpetuate the same problem that we're already dealing with the leadership and the people who is in charge of allocating or distributing the money once it's received by these programs or institutions, whatever. They end up pocketing.
Did you know that in the state of Florida, when the Democrats controlled the state house and the Senate about 20 years ago, they gave money to the survivors of Rosewood. You ever see the movie? Yeah, the only time they got money. Now we look at Tulsa, and they got two survivors, 100 years old, 102 years old, and they finding bodies every day of victims of that race riot when they burned down all the black businesses, and they still. The Oklahoma elected officials say, too bad. They won't even apologize for what happened.
But when you talk about locally, because Allan started off talking about reparations here in the city of Detroit, they did form a task force.
It's a joke.
I did read.
It's a joke.
Was that a couple of months ago that someone made a proposal? The rest of the people on the force was like,
disowned.
Disowned. So it's going nowhere. It's going nowhere as we see it now. But I think that it's very important. I think that will be another issue for those that's running for mayor.
375 is going to be Gary Targo. All the billionaires is going to control all that shit. And now, I'm going to just tell you. Listen, they talk about
we give up on having an African town? Is that what you said?
This is African town.
We already African town. That's why I said we already African town. We just think what they really got a problem with us is actually naming it sexual.
African town.
So listen, right. I'm about to say, because if we have a district for that or a name area for that, then that'll allow us to get money. Maybe that's what they don't want.
Step infected town.
Here's a comment. Here's a comment. I've been saying Mongo should be mayor of Detroit for years. He's the only brother staying 10 toes down in Detroit. Another one.
You got
that Coleman Young in you, man. That's what it is.
Everybody out.
Listen,
that Coleman Young rubbed off on you.
The bottom line is that reparations. You know what? We need to have a real serious discussion about reparations. The U.S. had an opportunity after the Civil War when we had the most conservative white folks, General Sherman, all these folks that really they supported slavery in a sense, but they said we need to give these ex-slaves 40 acres and a mule. We need to get them to take the land from the traders, those are the folks that wanted to secede from the U.S. and move about our business. They had 80 years to take care of business because a lot of ex-slaves lived all the way into the 1940s and a few to 1950s, and they didn't do it. Now they saying we don't know who's the descendant, who from
So
here,
you can easily
who
find
from
that
there.
out.
Yeah, there's no question, and it's easy here in Detroit to say who. You look at the census record and say who lived in Black Bottom and Paradise Valley, who owned what. They got the records and stuff. And can we have some programs? Harvard would have closed down. Georgetown would have closed down if they didn't sell slaves.
Right.
They keep their doors open.
Right.
So Georgetown has a program that says descendant of slaves. You can prove it, go back, whatever. You can go to school for free,
Right.
like they used to do to Native Americans. You
Right.
can get into
Well,
university, etc.
But you know
So,
what?
it's
One
not
of
a
the-
paycheck.
listen, when we're talking
Yeah.
about African Town, if we really talking about African Town, something I touched on last week was zoning. We talked about how you have all these empty buildings and people want to buy these buildings and they tell the people they can't buy them because it's zoned for X, Y, and Z, but it's been empty for 10, 20 years. That to me is a start.
When you got the ombudsman here, and he's been dealing with the community
Yeah.
18 years. Tell
I
me.
mean, listen, the people that you elect make those decisions.
Yep.
Right? The decision to say that a building or a property is off limits comes from the top. They have a plan for that particular location or building or a particular area in general. It's one of the complaints you get quite often associated with the land bank, even down to lots. You know, we're not even talking about structures. Land.
Right.
I can't get this land. It's off limits to me. I've been taking care of this land. I can't get it. I can't get reimbursement. So, once you go to the ballot box and you cast your vote, that's it. So you got to be sure you got to do your homework in terms of, you know, what you're getting and what the end result may look like.
And so, Bruce, when you say cast your ballot, I think it's important that before you cast your ballot, you have to have a list of demands. You have to have a list of demands. And guess what? Once you cast that ballot, your ballot for all these individuals, and they don't, you have to hold them accountable.
For
And if they don't, hey, you out of here. As the guy that's coming back into office, Donald Trump says, you're fired. We have a history of repeating the same cycle all the time. These same people. Some of these people gonna die in office, right? They don't groom anybody to take the reins or anything like that. That's ridiculous. So yes, cast your ballot, but make sure that your ballot means something. It means something if you made a list of demands.
The Democratic Party is in shambles. I don't know when it's going to get better.
How long would you say that it's been in shambles?
Quite some time. But we saw those chickens come home to roost recently by our inability to have a cohesive group of individuals who are like-minded who can put the right person in office.
But you know what? The process is broken. Your comment, Allan, on what you had something in Deadline Detroit about Whitmer throwing Garland Gilchrist under the bus, cut his head off, feet, and everything else.
I mean, it's interesting. I think she's trying to be too political, and I think that's going to be a liability. I think people like to see people. I mean, granted, they're natural politicians, but they want to see people who don't always act like a politician and dodge the tough ones. I mean, my feeling is she should have come out and basically said, look, whatever Garland Gilchrist wants to do, whether he wants to run for governor, whether he decides to run for mayor, he's got my support. He's been my partner for 6 years. Instead, she said, I've got a lot of friends out there. She goes, Garland's done a great job. So has Jocelyn Benson. So has Duggan. And she says, I've got other friends out there too who are talking about it. And I'm just not going to endorse anyone. It makes her look,
Thank you, Karen.
you know, it
Thank
makes
you, Karen.
it makes her look weak. I mean, not only that, I mean, when you see the legislature, the final days of a Democrat-controlled legislature in the state, the governor is the one who should ultimately be driving that train there. And I think, yeah, go ahead.
She unchecked out, Alan. She checked out. We're gonna take a break, come back, let you finish up. This is Detroit in black and white here at McShane's, Michigan and Trumbull. Bruce Simpson, Marc D'Andre, Vanessa Moss. I'm Adolph Mongo. Be right back.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, welcome back to Detroit in black and white. Alan, quickly, I say that Garland Gilchrist got Stockholm syndrome. He's been kidnapped for 8 years and he doesn't know. He doesn't know it. He should have went rogue after they got reelected and had his own agenda. Smart young man.
Wait a minute, let me say something because I don't know how old you are, but we're young black men, and I speak for myself. Lieutenant Governor, in my opinion, is a beautiful brother, very articulate, very smart, carries himself well, and to me will be everything that you would want to see in any position of leadership in our great state of Michigan, whether that be local or statewide. So anytime you see him take a shot across the bow, we should take it personal. I don't have appreciation for it. With that being said, politics are at play.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Politics are at play, and so I just think it's important that we recognize the talented brother that he is. At the same time, understand that there are politics at play, and that's what you're seeing bleed out and come to the forefront. With that being said, it's going to be an interesting race moving forward as we look for our quote-unquote government.
Battle Royale. Go ahead and wrap it up, your comment, Alex.
Yeah, well, I'd say also, there could be other, it's interesting if Pete Buttigieg steps in. I mean, he's, for whatever it's worth, he's polling well. He hasn't really said anything. I don't know, but
you ready for a gay governor?
Well, there's 3 states that have gay governors, but they're probably they're blue states. They're Massachusetts, Colorado, and Oregon, I believe. And
well, those are anomalies.
They're blue states too. Also, I mean, Michigan
and
is
blue,
purple,
red, rainbow, whatever they are. They are what they are. But in Michigan, Michigan is a conservative state.
couple of weeks ago.
There's no question.
And Allan called me on the carpet, and I said, listen, if you talk about black folks, we very conservative, especially on Sunday.
Well, we're talking
I'm
about
sorry,
western
but-
part of Michigan, where I used to be a newspaper reporter. They're very
Well, the
conservative.
state just went red.
So
What else do you need to see?
exactly.
Or it's-
Hold on.
It's
Hey,
perfect.
wait a minute. Now we're talking about the Democratic side. I want to be clear on something. I have great respect for the governor and everybody that's involved in this process. Jocelyn Benson, the governor, Mayor Mike Duggan, etc. I want to put that out there. But when we talk about this race, let's be clear. Trump is going to do everything that he can through his war chest that he will have at his disposal to ensure that he has a Republican governor here in the state of Michigan.
Well, Duggan,
You know how you feel about
Duggan,
Whitmer. You know how Trump
we
feel about Whitmer.
we cannot lose sight of that.
Duggan running as an independent has really helped him. He
Establish the
might
ground.
get that. There's no question about it. Listen, man, they playing chess, and everybody's making these moves and doing all what they doing, and I see where they trying to force Garland to run for mayor, you know, so they can feel good and shit. I was suspect with the governor when they let Alyssa Slotkin run. She was their choice for the Senate because Debbie Stabenow, they said, "Oh, she don't get along with Slotkin." That's bullshit. Because if she really wanted to leave that position, she would have resigned. Whitmer would have said, "I'm appoint Garland as the U.S. Senator." They would have got him out the way. But no, they want all of it. They don't want part of it. They want all of it. Benson is greedy. Dana Nelsel is greedy. Whitmer is greedy. They all greedy. They all eating at the buffet, and they don't want to share. They don't want to share. They don't want to share none of this food.
Mongo, you know what? I think that maybe one of the plans was if Kamala Harris had won, that the governor would become an appointee in 2025 or 26, and that Garland.
I don't think so. They didn't even campaign.
Well,
they didn't do shit for her.
No, yeah, well, but
look, we're getting ready to end in about 8 minutes, and I want to give a shout out to all those people that that decided to join us in this conversation. We're going to ask you to continue to watch and hit that like button. We have people been commenting on my phone. Mr. Evans, he said we need our local people, elected people equipped to serve us. California should show that what's going on in California should show us that we all need to be prepared in situations like that. He said, the gentleman said all the stuff you help with people in the city for free. And you help that little girl go to college, but soon as the city has money to give away, we as Black people do not qualify or some kind of red tape. That's BS.
Don't qualify or overqualify.
Right. So he had a whole lot of comments. Dwayla had some comments. Who else did we have? We can see here on the phone. Marlon Holt. Joe gave $347 million to Detroit. He gave Ukraine. Oh, you already said that. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you guys hit that like button. We're gonna always bring it. We're gonna always bring it. We're always gonna have spirited conversations. You're welcome to even come here on Saturdays at McShane's and join us live to join the conversation.
Okay, Bruce, your final thought.
First and foremost, for anyone who had a comment for me that we missed or a concern that you wanted me to address, you can reach me at 313-224-6000. The number is on the screen again. That's 313-224-6000. Or you can email us at buzzing@detroitmi.gov. And finally, a lot has been made about my term coming to an end in October of 25. What I can assure you is that I'm going to finish the same way I started, with it strong. You can expect to see me a lot the rest of the winter and the spring. We have an annual report coming up. This will be my last report, which will be full of interesting recommendations for us.
So, hey, Mark,
When is the report coming up? When is it coming up?
in the March.
In the March, okay.
Let's go, Mark. Thanks for coming. You gotta come back, Mark.
Oh man, look, I mean, it's cool here. Like I said, man, I'm comfortable here. Not being the leader of the panel. I mean, it feels good to just sit back and relax and answer questions sometimes. In light of the story that we opened up the conversation with Zach Harris, we got so many missing kids, runaway kids, whatever it may be. I just urge the parents to take more responsibility in what their kids is doing, man. Like, stop being the kids' friends and get in their business, their children. Right? That's the reason why we got so many of these situations going on, is because the parents is letting these kids do what they want to do, how they want to do. They pay more attention to our children out here, man. Be more active in their lives. And that's what I urge from the parents, man. There's too many missing children out here, man. And start at home. I don't care what nobody says. At the end of the day, even like the girl that I picked up driving Uber at 3 o'clock in the morning, there was something going on at home that caused her to leave.
You remember years ago where the young lady was at the bus stop with the baby, and she gave her baby to somebody, and they killed the baby and shit. This shit been going on forever. You know what? And it's like it never stops. Vanessa, go ahead.
Yeah, my party words is like, subscribe, and share. Hit that like button. I want everybody, despite all the outrages that we've had, that we've expressed today, I want everybody to go out and, you know what, make it a good day. Give the best of yourself to our society.
Allan, your final thought.
My final thoughts are go Lions.
God damn.
We on a bye this week. We on a bye this week.
Yeah. Well,
Fuck the Lions.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Fuck the Lions. I'm going for it.
What is wrong
Fourth
with you?
down and inches to go. Fuck the Lions.
No. Why do y'all?
How can you be for the home team and against the home team at the same time?
You got a U of M hat on, but you against the Lions.
And I can fuck the U of M too.
Come on, man.
You can't be trusted, brother.
Hey, you know what? You know what? You absolutely
Oh,
right.
we got that.
Oh, man. Can't go with that.
I'm a chameleon. I can be whatever you want me to be.
Adolph's just messing with. Adolph's messing with y'all. It's
Listen, Allan, you went to Michigan State, and I understand your mental capability. Listen, I got accepted Michigan State when I was in the 3rd grade. Got a degree in the 4th grade.
Wow.
Right.
Went to Bowling Green.
We just established that he can't be trusted. Now you can get upset and lie on the pass.
Shots fired.
Well, as Eli
I
Zero.
grew up on 7 Mile as a 6-mile.
Oh man, no, don't bring 7 Mile into this. We do not condone none of this. We do not own rights to none of this shenanigans.
I am who I am. And Jim Nardone, I used to run Trent.
Thanks, Jim.
We want to thank all the folks that watches us and comment on Saturdays from 10 to 11, on Wednesdays from 8:30 to 9. Bob Roberts, thank you, Bob, from McShane's and stuff. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks, Bruce. You know what? 18 years in the ombudsman office. You're a bad dude, man. But you got some veteran people that work with you and been there as long as you've been there. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Look, I got a great team. Shout out to my deputy, Gail Bernard. Shout out to Anna Ferrante, Skip, the crew, Miss Wesley, and everybody else. I don't want to name all the names. Forget one, I'll be in trouble. But shout out to the entire Buddy crew.
Okay, Mark.
Everybody that follow and support me over there on 7 Mile Radio. I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know y'all are the backbone of my platform in the city, man. And all of the love and support that I've been getting from the city recently, man. I just want to say that I appreciate it. And I see everybody and the things that they're saying. I might not be able to reply to everything, but I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep going and keep filling this void out here in the city, man. And doing what I'm doing, no matter who's unappreciative to it.
And you're gonna have to come back and listen, come back anytime, and tell us what's going on.
I'll try to make this my second home.
Because
second broadcast home.
Because between you two young men, Man, y'all got the pulse of the city, and y'all know what's happening. And Allan, and thanks, Deadline Detroit, and keep it real. We know you the resident progressive, liberal, whatever the hell you are, but you are who you are. I'm Adolph Mongo. Be back on Wednesday.
Bye.
Thank you.